So when we engage mindfulness and compassion in a manner to benefit or move forward in life, develop personally, whatever framework that you use, what we're really doing is working on meaning and purpose. And I think it's important to be aware of that, because that sometimes can be very helpful to, when we pause, when life gets really difficult, pause and regroup and ask ourselves, what are we really doing here? So, and in the next email, they're sending out some links to some assessments that might be helpful or interesting to you if you want to take them to purpose in life and meaning kind of assessments. It's also one of my general efforts is when talking about meditation and compassion exercises to help us all, let's say, deepen our experience of what that means to us personally. When we do something, anything, for a long period of time, just the way our system works, we get used to it and we get normalized to it. And sometimes it doesn't bear the same fruit as when it did initially. Like initially when we start doing something, sometimes we can make, some really benefits are really obvious and fairly quick to manifest. But then later on, it seems like we're doing it and nothing is happening. And so that every time that happens, it's simply a matter of continuing, but also taking a look at what it really means to us so that we can get another view of what it is that we're doing. I've said often that mindfulness meditation is the beginning and the advanced meditation in some contemplative traditions. When we settle down, through the mindfulness meditation we become more aware of what's going on inside of us, so that we can get an idea of some more of the work that we need to do, or come across some things that need our attention that we haven't paid attention to in a while. And we begin to settle down and decrease our baseline of anxiety. Then what do? So we go to get our groceries, and we have less anxiety. We're less bothered by people standing in line and that sort of thing, or financial issues. We're less worried about them, and that's very beneficial. But what really gives the wisdom direction and meaning is compassion, meaning what are we going to do with this? What part of our lives needs attention? Is there anyone that's close to me that needs some help? If someone's really bothered about what's going on in the world politically, can I do anything about this? Whatever it is, even if it's just writing letters to the editor, and you'll have heard this before, but I think it bears repeating, and that's why I repeat it. It's just because I think it's really important to emphasize this, that how important it is to take some sort of action to make the world a better place in one's own life, whatever that may be. Otherwise, we can just sort of sit around and be 5% happier and leave it at that, without being disparaging of any particular books or speakers. But it gets to the point, particularly when things get more difficult, it becomes that point that we've got to do something. Much of what we experience as mental or emotional distress comes about because of this very thing. We're not sure what to do. And when that happens, what we're really doing is focusing a little too much on ourselves and not enough on the external world. So what I thought we'd do is start off with a long mindfulness meditation, and then do some compassion exercises, because one of the things I hope that will come out of this is we ask ourselves, am I doing everything I can? Is there anything that needs my attention that I'm not paying attention to? Is there anything, am I bored with my meditation? Do I feel like I'm not going anywhere with this? Or do I feel things have kind of stalled? Those kinds of questions, because the world is changing so rapidly. It's important that we keep pace with it. Let me put it that way. If you would, find a comfortable position, and we'll start with the meditation. And just settling down. Perhaps being more aware of the body and the points of contact with the chair or the floor. Just tuning into this present moment. The body being our home base, so to speak, in space and time. And noticing that the breath is perhaps changing pace. Perhaps the muscles and the sinews are relaxing. Allowing us to let go of the past or the future. And allowing us just to be right here, right now, as best we can. Sort of taking off the cloak of the world. And just sitting for a few moments. To allow more of our awareness to be attuned to just being. And nurturing that connection. And caring for it, in that whenever the awareness slips away, simply noticing, letting go of whatever it was attached to, and returning to the right here, right now. And allowing whatever arises, the thoughts or feelings, simply recognizing them and letting them go. And returning our awareness to its proper place in the here and now. And as we do, we can settle a little more each time in just being. And perhaps feeling a kind of solace in this place. And in our solace, letting go of anything that doesn't really pertain to the present moment. So we can, in effect, take up residence right here, right now. Coming to rest in this place of just being. And in this space between the past and the present, what we call the pause, maintaining our presence there as best we can. Perhaps seeing it like a cathedral. A great, open, sacred space. And in so doing, become more and more aware of this present moment in this space. And perhaps recognizing it that this is always available to us. All we have to do is slow down and turn our attention to the space between stimulus and response. And if the mind is chattering, that's okay. Sometimes a few intentional deep breaths can help us settle down. And again, remember, this is not about stopping thoughts from arising. It's about just letting go of what does arise. Many times we cannot stop our thoughts from coming up. Just can't do it, but we can change how we respond. And the more we come here to this present moment awareness, both in frequency and duration, we become more and more familiar with it. And it becomes more and more immediately available when needed. And knowing that we have this deep potential within us, innately. And accepting ourselves just as we are. And now bringing in the mode of compassion to oneself. Perhaps being aware of all the work that you've done so far, or the difficulties that you've worked through or overcome, or are experiencing at the moment. And treating yourself as your own best friend. Allowing compassion to well forth from within. An unending source. No one else or not many others may know of our trials and tribulations. It doesn't matter. Being compassionate toward ourselves is the most important part. And feeling as best you can this compassion arising, the warmth and kindness in this space of equanimity. That some part of us knows how hard we've worked and how difficult things have been at times. This part of us knows all our worries and concerns, our remorses, misgivings. Everything absorbed into the field of compassion, which has the whole picture. And particularly if there's something going on right now that's difficult, bringing that fully into this field of compassion if you can. And in a sense, filling us up with warmth and caring and love and kindness. And if there are others in our lives who have compassion for us, becoming aware of them, even if it may be a passing word or two from a stranger. But opening and receiving this compassion as best you can. Knowing too that there's people practicing in their particular spiritual tradition, praying for us anonymously. People that we would probably never meet. But who right now are praying for our well-being, our healing, awakening. In compassion. And noticing if there's any resistance. And if there is, sending compassion to that resistance. And receiving as best we can. The richness and warmth of compassion. And now shifting to someone you may know, or perhaps a person or others that you may not know. Who are in need of compassion. And from our own overflow of compassion, sending this out to others. So as we send from our compassion for ourselves and the compassion we receive from others. And now radiating that out to others in need. And we may be directed to people who intellectually we feel don't deserve it. But that's okay. We send it out to them anyway. Whether they're open to it or not, who knows, it may make a difference. Maybe not now or next week. Compassion never fails. It just depends on whether or not someone's open. And it seems the more we send out, the more we have. The more we have to send. And allowing ourselves to feel and accept compassion for ourselves, compassion from others, and sending out compassion to others. Omnidirectional compassion, radiating in all directions. And coming to rest in this place, ourself and others, giving and receiving, is all one activity. And if you care to, asking yourself the question, just simply, how can I help? And we may get a response now or later. But knowing, even though we seem to be such a small part of the world, wisdom and compassion can make a huge difference, even if it's only one other person's life. And accepting this, our responsibility in this lifetime. Whether it's working through our personal issues or helping others with theirs or both. Knowing that we're doing the best we can to make the world a better place. And perhaps in some way we do this exercise, the short form or whatever it is, on a daily basis. Things will change. And now, feeling a sense of completion for the moment. Coming to rest again in present moment awareness. Allowing this experience to settle in and take up residence. Knowing that you're not the same being as when we started. And letting it seep in, sink in, soak in. So that when the bell rings again, you can bring this with you as you go about your day. And come back to it at any time.